What's up, you guys? Tell me if you can relate to this. Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to lose weight, the more unmotivated, stressed out, and generally anxious you feel? Yeah, it might even be a situation where you're doing everything right. You're tracking, you're eating clean, you're working out, but the scale just won't budge. It's a frustrating experience. And I just want to let you in on a little secret. You might think that this is a willpower thing. Like, well, every now and then I start to lose motivation, and then maybe I have an evening or two where I eat too much or drink too much, whatever. So as a result, you're like, that, you know what? I just need to buckle down on my willpower. I just need to power through this and just last long enough. If I can just follow all these rules long enough, then the scale will finally budge and I'll be in the body that I want to be in. But let me let you in on a little secret. It's actually not a willpower problem, it's a nervous system problem. So if you are alive right now in this current age, you probably have experienced stress in your life. But let me explain to you that stress, what it does to the body. So let's just talk about this, right? So when you experience stress, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Now, you might have heard of this before, but let me just explain if you haven't. Cortisol it's not necessarily a bad hormone, but it's really meant to help your body in times of, say, the stress of running away from a tiger, you know what I mean? Or getting in a fist fight with somebody. But it's not meant to deal with the stress of, say, you're sitting at your desk and your boss comes by and says like, hey, I'm gonna need you to work this weekend, and also we're cutting your benefits. And that's obviously a made up scenario, but you can imagine if you're just sitting in your desk and getting some stressed out information at work, your body's not moving. So what's it doing? It's just releasing this cortisol. This hormone is flooding through your body. Well, this hormone, what it does is it's meant to prep your body for fight or flight, and it's meant to keep you safe. It's not meant to encourage fat loss. So to give you an idea of the negative results of cortisol, if you're not in an actual fight or flight situation, you might experience cravings, you might experience water retention, you might also have sleep disruption, because when your body is producing this hormone, it's basically saying like, we either need to be fighting or fleeing. We should not be sleeping, we should not be resting, like this is what needs to be happening. So you can see where if you are, especially if you're in a state of chronic stress and your body is just constantly in this sympathetic nervous system dominance, it's not set up for weight loss. Right. It is not set up for weight loss. So you might feel like you're pushing this boulder uphill for a reason. Here's the big takeaway from this, though, from this brief introduction. You cannot diet yourself out of a dysregulated system. So if you're super stressed out, basically trying to diet yourself out of that it's like piling on. It's just gonna pile on and make things worse. So let's talk about what this looks like day to day. Like, okay, so this is something that you're experiencing. What does this actually, how does it actually show up? This is your sort of stereotypical, oh, I always start off this week strong, and by the end of the week, I just fizzle out into nothing, right? So it's like Monday morning, you're doing everything right, everything feels good, but then at some point you feel stressed. And so maybe you end up like stopping by a coffee shop and getting that frappuccino, that like chocolate frappuccino that's not technically on your plan, or it's not really gonna help. Maybe it's full of caffeine and you're getting it at 3 p.m. because you're just stressed out and you need something to feel good, right? So that's sort of like the first step. It's like you start off strong, you feel this need that basically spurs on emotional eating. And then as a result to that, you start to lose motivation, right? So it's like maybe the scale isn't budging because you just have these moments where you need something, anything. And the bottom line was with weight loss is if you're going to do it, you have to stick with it long enough. Like you have to stick with it basically. And so it's like you go through this pattern of like, start off strong, eat emotionally, nothing happens on the scale, motivation crashes. By the end of the week, you're like, I don't even care anymore. And I just feel anxiety and frustration and anger. And that sucks. It's not your fault. And the kicker of all of this is not a lack of self-discipline. This is actually your body is trying to protect you. So I know that it's probably hard to hear that because you're like, no, my body is fighting against me. I just wanted to lose weight. But everything that your body does, even if it doesn't make any sense to you, it is your body's trying to keep you safe. So here's what I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on the idea of regulating before you restrict. That means regulating your nervous system. So that regulating your nervous system, basically, it's a fancy word for saying bringing rhythms to your life, to your body, to your experience, so that your body comes out of fight or flight. It moves from that sympathetic nervous system response of like, I gotta fight or flee, to what's called a parasympathetic response, which is rest and digest. Now, I know that's very, very difficult in this day and age. Trust me, even if you just have a 30-minute commute during rush hour, that alone can send you over the edge. I get it. I totally get it. But ultimately, we don't, I know we want to get into a place where we're like stress-free is what we think we want. But I'm just going to let you know, if you actually, like if you were on a beach, and maybe you're a beach person, so you're like, oh, I could live on a beach. Maybe, but I'm just going to tell you, if you literally had nothing to do but sit on a beach, at some point you'd get bored. So we do want a little bit of stress. A little bit of stress is good. We don't want too much stress. So that's it. I kind of want you to imagine like, if you ever took, is it trigonometry with sine and cosine? Algebra? I'm not a math teacher. But if you would just imagine your, the goal is kind of this like nice, clear line. And like that's sort of in the midpoint. And above it is you're flying high, you feel great. The midline is this is perfectly average. Nothing bad is happening, nothing good. Below the line is like, ugh, we are stressed. You want sort of this nice little up and down, like a sine wave, right? You do not want to be constantly in this like steep dive underneath. Sure, if you can be up all the time, that's awesome, but that's just not how life works. So regulating is that process of getting yourself to be able to come out of stress, be able to go back into stress, and you can do it sort of intentionally. So the way we do this is through practices. And if you've been on my channel or if you look through my channel, I actually have several YouTube shorts that give you tips on this. So feel free to look at that. But the biggest thing is we don't necessarily want to say no stress, as I said before. It's kind of that idea of like whatever we resist persists, right? Rather, what we want to do is number one, become aware. So become aware of when you feel triggered. If you decide that you're going to stop by that Starbucks and get that Frappuccino, just getting to the point of being able to verbalize like, wow, I feel like crap. And I'm going to get myself a Frappuccino because that sounds like it's going to make me feel better. Just being able to verbalize that is huge. That is a massive, massive step in the right direction. So awareness is number one. Number two is focusing on grounding yourself. Grounding yourself is a fashion. If you've practiced yoga, you're familiar with that term, but if you're not, grounding yourself is basically feeling your feet on the floor, or maybe clenching and releasing your hand. Wow, that's gonna make my hand look like massive because I'm so close to the camera. But it's anything that puts you in your body. So again, especially if you do work where you're sitting behind a desk and all of your work is up here, there's nothing more physically exhausting than that, because your body's not able to release any of that tension. So grounding yourself, doing something to get yourself in your body, and then also breathing techniques. So a very simple practice that I do daily is take a in breath for 5 counts and an out breath for 5 counts. That alone, if you do that, and you're trying to slow down your breath. So you're not trying to do these big heaving breaths. You're just, that's it. And then the third step in this process of regulating is trying to bring rhythms to your life. So rhythms and rest. So one of the reasons that I find weight loss to be a huge key to actually releasing stress and finding your way to better mental health practices is If you can simply regulate yourself by allowing yourself breakfast, lunch, and dinner at any kind of routine, like finding a rhythm that works for you and sticking to it. If you're a person who snacks all day and you don't really know when the next meal is coming, it's like, well, I had a little bit here, a little bit there. That is a wreck on your body's nervous system. Like, it needs to know that food is coming. So just the action of bringing rhythmic eating to your life, those are the big steps, and those are things that you can control in your life. You absolutely can control in your life, but it does take intention. All right, so let's think of some realistic things that you can do starting today. So what I just talked about was general principles of how to bring regulation to your nervous system, how to repair your nervous system. What you can start doing today is this. Number one, when you first wake up in the morning, just ask yourself, how is my stress level? What is my stress level right now? That's that awareness piece, right? And then the next thing you can do, so that's one. Number two is after your meal, like let's say after your lunch, go for a short 5-minute walk. If you can be outside, bonus points. If not, that's fine. If a walk doesn't work for you, you could also do a breathing break. So maybe set a timer for 5 minutes and just do that in breath 5, out breath 5. And you're just focusing on that counting. So it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. The point of that exercise is just in breath 5, out breath 5. That's it. And you're trying to breathe into your lower rib cage if you can. So feeling that expansiveness, and then fully exhale. And then number 3, at the end of each day, you do an end of day check-in. So you could, if you have time to journal, that's wonderful. If you're not a journaling person or you don't have time, that's fine. You could simply ask yourself, okay, what went well today? What would you like to redo if you could? And here is a power play. If there is something that you felt anxious about, didn't like how you showed up to that experience, whatever it was, redo it in your head. Imagine how you would have wanted to do that instead. That's huge for reasons that I don't necessarily need to go in right now, but that is a huge practice. So those are the 3 things that you can start today doing. And keep in mind that regulation comes after consistency. So, deep breathing one time is very helpful in that moment. I can tell you, I am a stay-at-home mom with my toddler in addition to being a weight loss coach. And when he's having a meltdown, that deep breathing exercise, I lean heavily into that. But I'm going to be honest, it's not like I breathe in 5 seconds, breathe out 5 seconds, and whoop, I flipped a switch. That's not how it works. But what you are teaching your body to do is to become resilient. And that's ultimately it. Is resiliency is something where resiliency means you can handle the stress. It doesn't mean that you require a stress-free environment. If you can be resilient, it means you can handle the stress. But the key is knowing how to use these practices, and also knowing when too much is too much, and being able to walk away from that or change that situation. I know, easier said than done. So here's the big takeaway from this whole video about stress. You are not broken. Your body is doing exactly what it's designed to do under stress. When you do the steps that you can control to make your body feel safe, your body will stop resisting. You will start those habits, those healthy habits that allow weight loss to happen, allow fat loss to happen. Those habits become easy when you have these practices down and you're doing them consistently. So that's it. So I don't think I've said this yet. My name is Sarah. This is my channel. I'm a weight loss coach, a nutrition coach, and the videos that I do on my channel I go way deeper into regulating your nervous system and also into sustainable fat loss. So please, if you'd like to learn more, I'd love for you to go on this journey with me. I'd love to assist you with these videos. So feel free to subscribe to my channel so you know whenever I do new videos. And I will leave you with this. You do not need to fight your body to lose weight. You need to help it feel safe enough to change. I'll see you in the next video.